Hello YouTubers and fellow star citizens. Today I'm going to review the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. I have to apologize, I meant to get to this video last week, however I spent the majority of last week sick in bed, so that didn't happen. There was a rather substantial update this week. Apparently I still had my helmet on. Reset the computer and everything else, so I guess it is saving part of the persistence. And if you notice from my old hanger, there's been a few changes. I traded in some of the Auroras and upgraded to a 315p on one of my Auroras. So I've been doing some ship swapping. Now, my wife, her account does have Auroras still on it. So I can still test Auroras for testing purposes, but after flying them for a little while, they're not horrible, but they're not the ship that I believe that I'll be spending much time flying in. So, before we go much more into detail, I'm doing the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro, and let me tell you something straight off. I went to their website because, as many of you who have watched my other videos know, especially the 300i and the Hornet, I prefer yaw on the x-axis, twist for roll. Well, since we still don't have those options to bind that within the game, now supposedly you can go to the console, enter in a command, and it's supposed to do that and load a slightly different profile. But I've never gotten that to work, so I had to download the Logitech Profiler program, also known as Logitech Gaming Software. So I went to their website, I downloaded the latest version, which I think is 8.6, 8.5, 8.6 something. And it couldn't find my Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. Well, apparently the latest software has no support for joysticks. In order to get the version of Logitech Gaming Software that works with the joysticks, you have to get version, I believe, 5.1, which was released sometime in 2010. So make sure you grab it from the Extreme 3D Pro download section on their page, from the actual joystick page, not their overall master support download software. Once I downloaded and installed the later version, or the earlier version for Windows 7 Professional, 64-bit, I was able to create a profile, and it does not look like it took effect. So I'm stuck to yaw on twist and roll. So this is loading essentially the default configuration for the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. So we'll be flying that today. You know, obviously right now missiles and guns are not where I would like them to be. So, we'll see how well I perform here with the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. So already there's strike one against the software. The profiler didn't seem to load or create the profile that I wanted. Now, I've logged more time with the T16000M than any other stick right now, but that's going to be very quickly eclipsed here by the CH gear that I have. But a lot of people have this joystick. It is a very popular joystick. I've had this one for about 18 months. I used it a lot in Diaspora, especially in the early days. And I went out and bought it simply because it was the only stick on the shelves at Best Buy. I had not purchased any joysticks in about a decade at that point. And went around, and this was it. In fact, this was the only one they had on the shelf. They only had one. And I might have even had to have gone to 2 different Best Buys in the St. Louis area to get one. So, however, with that being said, despite having some bad experiences with previous generations, ouch, I rammed into the guy there. It's held up very well. I've had it now for about 18 months. The stick, it has a fair amount of resistance. especially when compared to the Extreme 3D Pro, and especially on the X-axis. I don't feel the resistance is nearly as bad on the Y or the pitch axis as it is on the roll or X-axis side to side. And twist also feels pretty good to me. It actually feels better than, say, the T16000M, actually. Throttle all works. I think this is... okay, that one's missile. I flew with the stick very briefly the first day Arena Commander was released. Just trying to get a joystick to actually work at that time. Also, I'm sucking on a cough drop right now. Again, I was sick earlier this week and still have a residual cough. So if I do cough during this, I do apologize. But I'm trying not to. If you hear sucking sounds, it's because I'm trying to suck on the cough drop and not suck in the game, which I'm doing a fairly decent job of. But again, I guess I should have read up on the reread up on the mapping controls, and so try to figure out what button does what. Again, this profile feels weird because of some of their selections of where they put buttons. The number 2 button, which is on the thumb position by default, is firing your Bulldog, and then your triggers are firing your own Manskys, which is perfectly fine. That's not the button I wanted. Okay, there we go. But overall, it feels pretty good. Joystick, again, you can find them from anywhere from about $25 to $35 online and in retail stores. Okay, that... no. So, which one of these is my... okay, this is my afterburner. Again, trying to figure out buttons on the fly. Why did it just launch a flare? I must map that to multiple buttons or something. Oh, because I'm hitting the wrong button. That would be why. Oh, that went well enough. Once I started firing my guns. But at any rate, I think the button I was hitting that was firing flares is probably where I would prefer my weapons group 2 to be, as opposed to on the thumb. You know, in most games, the thumb button is reserved for firing missiles. So whenever I want to fire a missile, that's instinctively where I'm hitting. I will say that due to the fact that you're using multiple weapons groups, even with the CH gear, I'm going to be... so, why is that... oh, that's not who I want to attack. I want to attack that guy. Alright. And these buttons are a little bit loose, and some of that might just be the fact that, you know, I have used it quite extensively for, 18 months. I didn't get a missile evaded. Looks like the back. So I'm not having the best time here. Sometimes I think joysticks do make the difference, but I'm literally going into this review cold. I've not flown much in the last 3 or 4 days due to being sick, and I'm already down 2 craft in wave 3, both due to collisions.
Origin JumpWorks at your service. Core system operational. Contact.
So again, I would have chosen some different mapping, I think, for where they selected to put buttons.
Proximity alert. Hostile eliminated.
Elite units eliminated.
But once we get bindable keys, a lot of that issue goes away. A lot of that issue is bindable keys. But again, it's a very popular joystick. If you go to try to buy one off the shelf, this is most likely the stick you're going to end up with. In terms of accuracy and precision, all of that actually feels
Proximity
quite
alert.
good. Oh, better avoid that.
Scan initiated. Scan initiated.
There might be a key for this, but I wish there was a target whatever's in my center heretical option.
Eliminated.
Again, I'm not super familiar with all the different keybinds available. I've only been using a small fraction thus far. And again, I've been trying to get a different general feel for the various ships and the joysticks. I want to say that once you kind of get used to pitch and roll, it's not that bad. Again, personal preference is still going to be pitch and yaw for me, but as you can see, I'm getting a little bit better as I get more comfortable with the stick
Alert.
in successive ways.
Hostile contacts remaining. Warning. There are multiple hostiles inbound.
So we'll see how far we get, but chances are I'm gonna die on about wave 5 and be out alive. We'll see. We'll see how well that goes.
Proximity alert. Eliminated. Scan initiated.
No, there's somebody closer.
Initiated. Eliminated. Scan initiated. Proximity alert.
Then it must go to the next one. It doesn't automatically lock your nearest target. Again, automatically target next hostile would be another useful option. Or closest hostile instead of next hostile. Now this needs to be a preference. This doesn't need to be a default setting. But it should be a setting you should be able to make in your avionics package and have it remember. And eventually I'm sure we're going to get there as they build more advanced features like that into the game. We're a ways waiting.
Eliminated.
Alright.
Proximity alert. Scan initiated.
So it took me about 10 minutes to get acclimated to the stick. Hopefully the sound is turned down enough. I don't know. I think I turned it down after the update again, so it's just not completely overpowering as it was in a couple of my earlier videos. I guess I should check that here. After this wave, we'll check. Whee!
0 hostile contacts remaining.
The flight model seems to have changed a little bit.
Proximity alert.
Oh, ouch.
Elite units en route.
Contact.
All right.
Initiated.
So I guess we're to wave 6 here.
Scan initiated. Proximity alert. Eliminated. Proximity alert. Scan initiated.
I'm not doing a bad job with pitch and roll, even if it isn't my preference. Again, some people have problems when they have to adapt their flying style to whatever it is they're flying. I tend to be rather adaptable at this. I have my preferences, and boom. Okay, made it through 6 waves. Probably if I were to fly this again, and I may go ahead and do a second one now that I'm kind of reacclimated to pitch and roll versus pitch and yaw, as well as acclimated to the stick and kind of got its feel down. Let's see how well I do again to really give it a proper review. So you kind of watch as I go through the process of evaluating a stick. As I was just talking earlier, now I don't do my best gaming performances when I'm trying to review a stick and tell what's going on while trying to fly at the same time. We'll be lucky to get to wave 9 in about 20-25 minutes. So again, I'm using kind of really one hand on the stick, and my left hand is just kind of sitting here. I guess I should have it more actively on the keyboard or down at the base to more accurately manipulate the throttle. I'm not really trying to do any advanced tactics with these sticks. I'm just trying to give people, the basics of each one of these, how they perform to me in my hands. Again, this joystick has some fairly stiff resistance. It does not have adjustable tension on it, so it is what it is. It's not bad. I mean, it's nowhere near as horrible as the Warthog. Warthog's center tension is just atrocious, to be frankly honest with you. And the T-Flight X HOTAS, as well as the stick, if you ramp up the tension, it's about the same. That does have an adjustable tension knob on it. Alright, so now I've gotten acclimated again. Let's see how well I do. Now I'm going to be out in front of my Hornet escorts, or wingmen, but I chose to go the long way. Let them engage, get them off target, find gearers, and then I thought I should have got a kill there, but boom. That's 1:43 seconds, not too bad. Wait for him to present a good target and kill him. So it looks like we should be through the first wave here in about our circle darken. If you notice how they were kind of engaging in kind of a spiral of death there, where they're circling each other like that, you want to avoid that in multiplayer, because if you're that player in that circle, you end up with a lot of angular momentum, but you're not physically moving anywhere, and that makes it very easy for somebody coming in for a boom and zoom run, as I just did there, to line up a shot and end your day in the battle quite quickly. So there's a little tip and trick and tactic. There are a lot of people, especially once we get 6 axes of control, who will want to sit there and do the strafing maneuvers. And that's all fine and dandy and all, but, you know, just be aware that if they got wingmen, you're setting yourself up to be a pretty easy kill when you do that. Do-do-do. Boom. I think the Bulldog has improved a little bit here from its initial incarnation. The Omanskis are still delivering their lightly deadly blows. I expect the Omanskis are going to get altered a bit. Alright. So we should be coming up on our first elite wave here, and I haven't had any deaths this time, so I don't think so. That's always a good sign. Let's see here, control 2.
Contact.
And I added a little additional power to my aft shield here. So I am starting to get more into systems manipulation and things of that nature. At least I hope that's what I was doing. Go to boost here.
Flare launched.
Shoot.
Shielding depleted.
Somewhere. There's the elite little bastard.
Received catastrophic damage.
Oh shit,
Scan
my engine's gone.
initiated. Weapon system has received catastrophic damage.
Ally eliminated. Ally eliminated. Ally eliminated.
So I made the mistake there. I should have gone after Little King first. You always go after the priority target.
Stand by for
Origin
reintegration.
jumpers at your service. Core system operational. Contact. Scan.
Ah, shit.
activated.
I hit the wrong button.
Achieved missile lock. Flare launched. Hostile eliminated. Scan initiated. Scan depleted. Flare launched. Eliminated. Scan.
What I needed to do the first time around.
Proximity alert. Refreshing shields. Achieved missile lock. Scan initiated. Hostile eliminated.
Whoa.
Proximity alert.
Alright. So supposedly after an elite round you're supposed to still repair damage, but
Contact.
and get missiles back. However, I don't think that's still happening for 300 pilots. Because as you can see, I'm still quite damaged.